My name is Daniel Harper. I'm a 48-year-old retired Army engineer, and 12 years ago I bought a quiet cabin overlooking Crystal Lake in northern Montana. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't worth millions, but it was a place where my late wife and I spent every summer raising our daughter. Every board, every stone fireplace, every handmade deck carried memories that couldn't be replaced. The Homeowners Association had only been around for 3 years. Before that, everyone simply respected each other's property. Then came the new HOA president, Linda Carson. Within months, the neighborhood changed completely. New rules, new fines, new inspections. Every week another notice appeared on someone's mailbox. Mine started over something ridiculous. According to the HOA, I owed $480 in updated community maintenance assessments. The problem? Those assessments had never been approved by the county, and several homeowners, including me, asked for financial record before paying. Instead of answering our questions, Linda mailed late fees, then penalties, then attorney notices. I replied through certified mail every single time, asking for proof that the fees were legally adopted. No one ever answered. 3 months later, I left town for a week to help my daughter move into her new apartment in Colorado. When I returned, I couldn't believe what I saw. The driveway was covered in fresh tire tracks. Dust still floated through the air. Where my cabin had stood for over a decade, there was nothing, just broken beams, concrete chunks, pieces of my fireplace scattered across the ground. Even the dock leading into the lake had been ripped apart. I stood frozen. One deputy walking the property looked almost as shocked as I was. He asked quietly, "So, is this your property?" I nodded. He looked back at the destruction. We were told the owner voluntarily approved demolition. I stared at him. I've been out of state all week. The deputy immediately stopped talking. Within minutes, he requested copies of every permit connected to the demolition. None could be produced. The demolition crew had already left. The HOA president claimed she possessed signed authorization from the owner. There was only one problem. I had never signed anything. The signature looked similar to mine, but one small detail gave it away. They had spelled my middle name incorrectly. That tiny mistake opened the door to a criminal investigation. The county building department soon confirmed something even worse. No demolition permit had ever been issued. No environmental inspection. No shoreline approval. Nothing. Someone had simply hired heavy equipment and destroyed a legally occupied residence. Investigators subpoenaed phone records, emails, bank transfers. Within days, another surprise surfaced. The demolition contractor admitted the HOA president personally instructed them to begin immediately because, according to her, the property had already been legally repossessed. Except it hadn't. The HOA had absolutely no authority to seize private property over disputed fees. Not even close. The contractor immediately cooperated after realizing he'd been misled. Then forensic accountants entered the investigation. What they discovered stunned the entire neighborhood. Money collected through the HOA had been flowing into several unauthorized accounts. Thousands of dollars had disappeared over the previous 18 months. Homeowners who believed they were paying landscaping fees had unknowingly funded private purchases, luxury vacations, electronics, personal vehicle payments. Everything traced back to the HOA leadership. The county froze the association financial accounts while investigators expanded the case. Meanwhile, my insurance company refused to simply write a check. Instead, their investigators partnered with county officials to document every detail. Drone photographs, property surveys, engineering reports. Every piece of evidence strengthened the case. The value of the destroyed cabin exceeded $2 million after recent renovations and waterfront improvements. Then another twist arrived. Security cameras from a nearby fishing lodge captured nearly the entire demolition. The footage clearly showed workers asking whether permits had been approved. One supervisor even hesitated before starting. Moments later, Linda handed over paperwork and insisted everything was legal. That recording became one of the investigation's strongest pieces of evidence. Several board members quickly resigned. Some claimed they never approved demolition. Others admitted they signed documents without reading them. The county wasn't interested in excuses anymore. Search warrants followed. Financial records were seized. Computers disappeared into evidence lockers. Neighbors who once defended the HOA suddenly began requesting attorneys. Months later, the courtroom was packed. Experts testified. Investigators explained the forged authorization. County officials confirmed no lawful process had ever allowed demolition. The contractor described exactly what he had been told. Then the judge addressed the HOA leadership directly. He called the destruction an extraordinary abuse of authority and a complete disregard for private property rights. The association's insurance refused to defend intentional misconduct. The HOA itself became financially responsible. The court ordered compensation for the full replacement value of the cabin, lost personal property, temporary housing costs, and legal expenses. The judgment exceeded anything the board expected. Unable to pay, the HOA dissolved. Its remaining assets were placed under court supervision while homeowners elected an entirely new neighborhood committee. A year later, construction finally began again. This time, neighbors volunteered every weekend. Some brought lumber, others planted trees. Several families rebuilt the dock together. What stood beside Crystal Lake wasn't an exact copy of my old cabin, but it represented something even stronger. A community rebuilt on honesty instead of intimidation. Today, every time I sit on the new porch watching the sun reflect across the water, I'm reminded that buildings can be replaced. Integrity can't. One dishonest decision destroyed an entire homeowners association. The truth rebuilt far more than a cabin. It restored trust to an entire neighborhood.